What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AJC, and it is finally here. Okay, one of the most anticipated Derby d'Italias in years has finally come. I am pumped to be here today, getting ready for it, and pumped to have Lex back. It's been far too long. Lex, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be back. I missed you. I missed the team. I missed everyone here, the AJC fam. Thank you for the warm welcome back.
Oh yeah, we're ready. And what a game to come back for, Lex. Holy smokes. This one has had it's 2 weeks that has literally felt like maybe a year waiting for this game, okay? And obviously all eyes on Locatelli, his fitness, a lot of other players' fitness, McKennie coming back, but we knew he would make it in Meretti, Danilo, Sandro, although nobody was really terribly concerned there. Okay, but the big news of the day is we are looking and staring down the barrel of a massive moment for Hans Nicolucci Caviglia. All right, so huge call here. Only Mirko Di Natale has his lineup out there that does not include Nicolucci Caviglia, but Di Marzio announced that it looks like Locatelli will be on the bench and Hans is going to get the goal. Romeo Agresti putting out his lineup, and it has Hans Nicolucci Caviglia in there. Obviously, we're going to get to that. We want to talk a little bit about some of the news surrounding the club. So what's been really cool, and if you guys have been in staying in tune with the past couple days of videos that I've been doing, especially yesterday, we have John Groh, the president of the official fan club in Toronto, the head of the Juventus official fan clubs North America. He is down there in Turin currently. He was in a meeting that Francesco Calvo walked into, wasn't expected to be a part of this meeting, and he walked in and he's like, okay, now all of a sudden John was a little intimidated about his presentation and everything and what he's got. But the Calvo, and I've been saying this for a while, not just because of him, but the changes, I feel like they start to have this finger on the pulse of the fans, and they're starting to kind of like figure it out. And I felt like we've seen the signs of them start to go back to what we needed, making the home field advantage in play again, bringing it back to a fortress of what it was. Today, there's gonna be a tifo there, okay? That's custom, that is brand new, that's gonna be unveiled today in Curva Sud, okay? What they're also doing with the fan clubs and just bringing that extra touch and saying no matter how near or far, always with you and together united. The official fan clubs of North America that are all hosting massive watch parties, okay, all across North America, they are going to have a live feed and actually be showcased on the maxi screen at Allianz Stadium, all right, while the team is taking their warm-ups. That's unreal. They usually just do that for the fans that are around the stadium, put them up on the screen. That's an awesome moment, all right? And then Calvo has the massive words after he addressed everything, after they were talking about fan initiatives, and he says, the cleanup will be done this year. God damn it, let's get cooking, Lex, all right? Cleanup done, let's roll. Juntoli to work, let's go. I'm jacked up, I'm fired up. It's just starting to finally feel like everything's starting to align properly, and like they do actually figure things out, and they do have, like I said, that finger on the pulse of the fans, fixing things with the ultras, everything like that, getting them back in there, the atmosphere, everything they're trying to do to add to the atmosphere. It's good. Now we just got to take care of business and slap those silly little snakes around on the pitch. But Lex, do you agree that you're starting to see this initiative and get that feeling like they are starting to kind of be more in tune with the fan base?
I definitely think so. I think it's been a massive improvement, especially from what we've seen over the last few years. And I think what you mentioned about the fan clubs is very exciting, especially for Juventini worldwide who maybe don't have that opportunity to get to the stadium. And so I think that gives a wonderful chance for them to be included in everything. My brother was recently at the stadium for a game, and same thing. He said the atmosphere did feel a lot better. There was a lot of singing, chanting. So I think all of that is just really positive for the club. I think that'll help for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at this. My fan club, all right, as they're closest to me, Vancouver repping strong today with 50 plus, all right, getting together to watch that game. I cannot stress enough. And this is not a North America thing. Worldwide, there are amazing fan clubs everywhere, okay? Serbia, Australia, we have our friends JCD, Melbourne, Gigi Buffon. Get to the official fan clubs near you and join up. There's nothing better than taking in a game with them. And not only that, but strong relationships are formed through this, okay? And they become family. Now, we got some news to tackle, all right? That's just the stuff going on with what the team's trying to do around the fans and everything and unite us. But we do have a little bit of news to talk about, okay? So obviously international break went on. The Azzurri have qualified and whatnot. Buongiorno's name came up, all right, about Juve targeting him. And he had a good showing against the Ukraine. Rocky start, early yellow card, but then actually managed with it very well. And he's one that's intrigued a lot of Juventini. Lex, your thoughts on Buongiorno? Because I will share this. Every time we talk about defenders, we get some wild Bremer takes out of nowhere. All right. And I posted the one that I saw that was just wild. It was like, sell Bremer 80 million, bring in Buongiorno for 35, take the rest of the money and spread it out. And I was like, no. Bremer's got to stick around for me and everything. But what are your thoughts on Buongiorno? The links, are you intrigued by it or not?
I think it's definitely interesting to consider. I wouldn't do the Bremer swap
Yeah.
personally, but I do think it's definitely an interesting shout to explore. I didn't catch enough of the Ukraine game to have a full opinion on him, but from what I did hear and from what I've seen, as you mentioned, I think he was able to hold it down at the back, especially in the later half of his shift. So definitely one to explore, but yeah, no swap for Bremer. I think I'll keep Bremer.
There you go. There you go. And then we've got still Sancho Berardi rumors. I don't quite get it. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But Lex, we haven't had you on here for a while. Sancho Berardi, does either one of those make sense to you, or do you want one of those players to be joining?
No, neither of them makes sense. I think in particular when we have like talents like Sule coming back to us at the end of his loan next season, I just think it doesn't make sense to bring in either of those players. Berardi's one that comes up every single transfer window. We can't escape the allegations. We're just always linked to him. And it's one I don't think will ever truly happen. Sancho, a talented player, but again, I just don't think it's the player that we need, especially given his history. So I think definitely hold off on those two. We have the talent up front, the youth for sure.
There you go. There you go. And Samardzic, new contacts apparently made between Juve and his entourage. This, everybody knows this is the guy I'm looking for to bring in for the midfield. Lex, you agree?
I'd have to agree with that. I think that's an exciting one for sure. I would go between him or DePaul, but that's more of a personal bias. But
That's
definitely,
Lex FC bias
that's like
kicking in there.
But yeah, Smartish would definitely be a good choice.
There you go. There you go. Now, I got to say, massive thank you to Shatterstar for the great, kind words. All right. I just glad that there are a lot of people that enjoy it. Okay. So anything I can do that you guys enjoy, it makes me happy. All right. Always bringing the AJC army together. Now, massive game. I can only rock a kit. And I left it up to everybody that follows us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatnot. What's the kit to rock today that's going to bring Juve the luck? And everybody chose this one from the fantastic free kick that Del Piero buried them with. And then, of course, the classic Selly. All right, this is the kit. This is the kit. So hopefully today we get that luck. We got to talk about this game now, getting into it, okay? I don't want to spend a ton of time on news because this one has just been so highly anticipated. First off, everybody's trying to play the game, and obviously for those of you that are looking maybe for some Serie A content, I am also taking on a new project by someone else, my friend Chris that started it. The Calcio Review asked me to be the host and everything, and I've been doing that and having a lot of fun with it. So check out the Calcio Review on YouTube. Please subscribe and give it a shot. Maybe it's up your alley, but it's funny because I had Anthony from Inter Worldwide, who is friends with our channel and supports the AJC, and I support his channel even though I can't stand his team. He can't stand mine. It's all good. We have a professional relationship. But saying, yeah, the pressure's on Juve, and I say, no, 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 no. The pressure is not on Juventus. You guys have the better roster on paper, the more depth in the roster. You're expected to be favorites in this game. You're favorites to go on and win the whole thing, all right? So for me, the pressure is all on Inter in this game. Live chat, everybody, AJC Army, do you agree? The pressure is all on Inter. Lex?
I agree completely. It's definitely their game to lose. I think even though Allegri has had a pretty good record against Inter, I do still think that it's definitely on them, this matchup. As you mentioned, they're the favorites for the Scudetto. We have never declared ourselves favorites for the Scudetto, so I think that this is on them. I'm hoping that we can catch them, surprise them on that, and take home the 3 points, but it's definitely on Inter.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so as well. RB Comps disagreeing, saying Juve at home with the curva behind us. Pressure on. I don't think that's pressure. I think that just is the atmosphere and really helps us. I feel like we're playing with free money here because it doesn't change anything for us. And here's Alex right here. If we don't win, nothing changes for us. If Merda lose, we could be the ones that all of a sudden start taking that jump. They do have the advantage that they have done their job in Champions League, so they can get after it today and whatnot. However, one of the key statistics in this game, okay, Inter in the last 17 away matches to Juventus in league play is winless in 15 of those with 11 losses, 4 draws, and 9 clean sheets. All right, so let's keep that record going anyways at home and get the job done. I think this is going to be a tight one. I don't think there's one thing I could say about this team, and I want to get your thoughts, Lex, is despite maybe not being as fluid as we would all like through certain performances and everything, I still feel that the one thing we can bank on is teams are not going to break us down easily whatsoever. And I feel the same thing is going to go for Inter. I don't care that Lautaro Martinez is rocking the Capo Cañonera race with 12 goals and whatnot. I don't care that Marcus Thuram looks good. I don't care that they have DiMarco on their left flank. I still think they are going to have a tough go trying to crack us. Do you feel the same way and have that same confidence?
Yes, I think I definitely do, especially given our performances in the past. And I think that for a team like Inter, that historically, as of recent past seasons, has played very aggressively and has been decisive on the counter. I think that when a team like us doesn't necessarily care to hold possession of the ball, we're okay with letting them hold possession. I think that that will always prove to be difficult. And I think that's what has proven to be difficult for Inter in the past whenever they match up against us. So I definitely think that if we can, lean into that side of our program and our team today, I think that we can definitely use that to our advantage for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Raul saying the pressure is on Inter, but a victory means the pressure then automatically gets on us to sustain a Scudetto run. See, and I still don't necessarily feel like it becomes this pressure to stay on top. If we get on top, it's going to be tight. If we get on top today, it's by 1 point. That doesn't seal the deal. If they get on top, it's 5 points up at the top, and then they're expected to go and run away with it, which I still do not believe will happen. I firmly believe and agree with Allegri's words of yesterday that nothing will be decided and be final in this game. The championship is not decided in this game, whether they win or we win. And I actually agree with that statement. Lex, it's not done today, is it?
No, definitely not. Does today help? A lot?
Yeah.
Yes. However, it's not done. And I think we've seen in the past too just how much even second half of the season can change things. We saw it last season. So with Napoli, no one believed they were going to catch them. So I definitely think that today I think it's a way for Allegri to take the pressure off of today's game a bit too. But I think that I would have to agree with that. It's not lost or won in one game.
Yeah, I've always said it's gonna be a tight one right to the bitter end. If we get away today, this would be huge, but not enough to make us run away with it. But it would be massive, I think, for the mentality of this team, because we thought there was some measuring stick moments coming up this season, and I've talked about this a lot. We had the one with Lazio and everything, which was a strong performance from Juventus, but as you watch these other teams move along, you start to realize that Lazio game was not a test. Lazio's terrible. They gave Salernitana their first win of the season, and I actually called that. Okay, if you tune into the Calcio Review, I actually called that. I said if there was going to be a moment, and because a member of Lex FC wasn't there, Luis Alberto, has a lot to do
Exactly.
with it, but Lazio's not scoring a lot of goals, and I said Salernitana at home, sure, I'll be bold enough to make that call. These measuring stick moments for Juve haven't come up. This is a massive, massive test to actually test Juve's mettle and figure out what we have. So I am incredibly excited for that. No matter what the outcome, it will tell us a lot. A lot about this team, a lot about our character, and a lot about where exactly we're at and if we're ready for that fight. So I'm pumped. I'm absolutely pumped. Now, everybody, get those likes up. Let's get those likes up here. We're going to start getting into some of the nitty gritty around this game, okay? So something's going to have to give here. Inter, 6 straight wins across all competitions, all right? Juve, undefeated at home this season. The Ultras are back. The Ultras are back. The atmosphere will be rocking and electric today, all right? Inter's Simeone Inzaghi. He will be without the services of his center back pair of Benjamin Pavard, Bastoni, and whatnot. So you are going to see De Vries back there, Darmian, and Acerbi. They feel confident in that still. And they can. But I think we should be able to take advantage of that. I get that they play well as a unit, but I feel like De Vries starting to get away from himself and he's lost his gig and everything. Of course, Bastoni, Pavard out there and whatnot. I feel like I like the fact that those are the three at the back there, and I think that's going to present an opportunity for Juventus. And one of the biggest question marks we had going into this game was who do you partner with Fede Chiesa up top there, Vlahovic or Keane? But to be honest, I think either one of those guys, no matter who, has to take advantage of the fact that these are not their mains for the back there and get into it and get after it. But I like the fact that they got to go with De Vries, Darmian, and Acerbi, personally. Lex.
I'd have to agree with that completely. And I like what you mentioned about all the talk that's been surrounding which striker we're playing up front. And it's interesting because our team tends to score goals not with our strikers typically, but I do think that today is a huge game for whoever ends up starting up front, especially if it's Vlahovic. I've seen a lot of talk about that on the timeline as well. I think today is a massive game, massive moment for him. For his future with the club, for sure. I think that if he can go out there and prove himself today, then that would be great for the team and for his own future. So I definitely think that, especially like you said, taking advantage of who they're starting at the back, not their usual, and being able to find something, make something happen for the team, that would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So big call there. A bunch of big calls Max has had to make, but Inzaghi has got to deal with that. A little bit of makeshift at the back. I like that. I think that helps us. He's got attacking options on the bench in terms of Sanchez, Arnautovic now fit and chomping to get involved and whatnot, but I don't really care about who's on the bench in this one. It might come into play, but to be honest, their more dangerous guys are going to be out there at the start. And those are the guys we need to worry about. If Sanchez finds himself in this game, if Arnautovic finds himself this game, I'll be quite honest, Arnautovic in the brief appearances he did have before getting injured didn't look good at all with Inter. And the fact that he's just come back, he's not going to really be in rhythm with them. So I'm not really worried about that, to be quite honest. Their lineup, 3-5-2, Sommer in goal, Darmian, De Vries, Acerbi, we talked about that. Then Dumfries, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, who did leave international duty but is absolutely fine and will be their director, Mkhitaryan, Di Marco, Thuram, and of course, Lautaro. Another big thing for me was, who do you put on Di Marco? For me, I think Weston McKennie has been massive as a right wing back, and I would like him in that matchup. According to our projected lineup from Romeo Agresti, McKennie is going to be in the midfield, and Cambiasso will actually be the one called upon to mark Di Marco. How do you feel about that matchup? Di Marco and Cambiasso.
I think that's a huge moment for Cambiaso, for sure. This is a massive test for him. I think this whole game is just, like you mentioned, a huge measuring stick for the team, for our players. But I think that I like that Cambiaso can get forward, and I think that he'll have to push DiMarco, hopefully push him back in order to challenge him more defensively. As they would say, like sometimes the best way to stifle an attacker is to make them play defense. So I think that that would definitely be an interesting matchup. I think that Cambiaso would have to step up to the plate for sure.
Yeah. Now, we have a comment here. It's Jeff with an X. As much as I criticize the midfield and their lack of creativity, our strikers need to be way more clinical, period. The ball needs to be put in the back of the net. I have been talking about this for a bit here, and look, I'm fine with whatever the majority want to label me as, because all of a sudden I have become an Allegri fan, and I'm okay with that. I don't care what people call it. You call me Allegri fan, call me an Allegri hater. It doesn't really make a difference to me. I just call things the way I see it, okay? But I have been saying this for a while, that there's a bit of this disillusion around this squad, because the way you play, for me, it changes from game to game with us, but there have been games where we can take advantage, and our midfield has not grabbed that bull by the horns and taken control and imposed themselves on other teams. Throughout all this play that everybody wants to talk about our offense and this and that and not scoring goals, not getting chances, all this, we have the most big chances missed in the league, in the entire league. Between Vlahovic and Chiesa, they own 10 big chances missed together, combined. Okay? If you even add half of that for each of them, okay, two, because they both have 5 apiece, big chances missed, all of a sudden they're right along the leaders in Capocannoniere race for both of them. It's just something that's not really talked about enough. And in every game, it's different. It's different based on the opponent you play, based on how they play and what you're doing. So we can have some criticisms about maybe us not adjusting properly. Like that Fiorentina game, we played right into their hand because they played 2 pivots. And we were just bombing Metsalas forward, trying to break the lines. You're never going to do that with those. But nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about the fact we just clamped down. Well, we could have adjusted. I think we should have tried to do more. But at the end of the day, 2 teams on the pitch. Tonight, there may only be a handful of chances. These guys are going to have to execute at a very, very strong rate if we are going to get the job done, I feel, because I don't think this is going to be a shootout for either team, you know?
No, I would agree with that. I think it never really is. I think that this game is going to be all about who can put away those chances that they do get, as you said, especially if we choose to allow them to have more possession of the ball and kind of, stifle their counters and try to sit back more. I definitely think that it's going to be on us to break them down and score those opportunities that we do get. I think, honestly, that our striker will make or break this game for us.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a fight. Like you could talk tactics, you could talk about matchups on the pitch here and there. These games become dogfights, and you always have that element of the officials. Is there going to be some controversy and whatnot? You just never know. But this game, it's a safe bet to take that there might be some controversy. You might see a PK and everything. It's one of those games. It's going to get heated. I think both teams are going to get after it. Both coaches stating we're not going for a draw. Allegri said that. Okay, so Allegri said we're not going for a draw. We'll go to win the game. Simone Inzaghi saying we're going for the win. I actually do believe Juve will go hard for that first goal. I really, really do. It may be to our benefit if we don't get it very fast. Maybe, to end the first half, I'd be okay with it. Maybe 60th, 70th minute, but I definitely don't it's hard to say that I don't want them to score within 10 minutes because I actually do feel that they would be so comfortable in trying to clamp down on those teams, right? But it's a funny thing to think about, thinking, man, I kind of hope my team doesn't score early, but we don't want that bus coming out too soon, right? Right, Lex?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's so funny that you say that because you know that that's exactly what's coming out as soon as we score, especially early on. And then it's just
Yeah.
nail biting for us for the rest of the 80 minutes. So, like you said, hopefully
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, let's try to avoid the bus early, but hey, it's hard to say. I'll take an early goal if we back it up with another one, all right? Like a 2-0 first half lead, come on. But I actually do believe that Juve gets after this thing early. I really think they're going to feed off the fans. The place is going to be electric, and I think they're going to get after it early and try and punch Inter in the face. And we just can't allow Inter that opportunity to silence the crowd. We just don't want to give them that. You don't want to give them anything. So I think Juve comes out very, very strong to start this game. Now, for our lineup, Romeo Gresti, Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Rugani. This was always a lock. And I said even if Danilo could find himself, regardless of being Capitano, I wouldn't have played him in this game because he is just coming back. You agree, Lex?
100%. I think that Gatti Bremer and Rugani is what you have to go with.
Yeah. Look at this comment. God, that fires me up, Sal. God, that fires me up. Bury this team and make a statement. Yes. Yes. I love that. Now, you got Cambiaso on the right side. We talked about he'll be lined up against DiMarco. McKennie. Hans Nicolucci Caviglia. Let's go. Let's go. Rabiot, Kostic, Vlahovic, and Chiesa. All right. So, we got to get into Hans Nicolucci Caviglia. When Locatelli got injured, okay, and I still believed he was going to get in there. And I think he could play today. But, man, oh man, has Max Allegri kept everything shut for this long and the whole time been working with Hans and preparing Hans and using the break and everything to his benefit to prepare him for what is a massive game and a massive moment. I said it when the rumors came out. I would have no fear playing Hans Nicolucci Caviglia. I said I never had fear with Illing Jr. having to get into the lineup. Illing Jr. played a European semifinal with Juventus last season. I didn't have fear when Barnechea got the call over Paredes multiple times. I didn't have fear when Dean Huijsen got called in with 25 minutes left against Milan when we were biting our nails with a 1-0 lead. I have no fear. And I'm excited for Hans Nicolucci Caviglia. Lex, your thoughts on Hans getting this shot?
I'm excited for him as well. I watched him at Salernitana last season and I was a fan of what I saw. I definitely think that, again, huge moment for him, another huge test. I think, as we mentioned before, this game is just massively decisive for so many elements of our team. I definitely think that I'm really interested to see what sort of dimension he's going to bring to our midfield. And I think that it'll prove also possibly as something to throw Inter off of their game as well. This is something new that we haven't seen in our midfield yet. I think that that could also prove to be an interesting advantage point for us too.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I always go back to the voice note sent to me by Mirko Di Natale when I was asking him about like the midfield. I was asking him about Hans. I was asking him about like targets coming in, and he sends me this thing with Hans Nicolucci Cavilla. We were actually talking about Illing Jr. and his minutes, and I said just straight up, Mirko, what's going on? Like, why no minutes? And he says, I don't understand it. He went on when I was talking about Illing Jr. and got into Hans Nicolucci Cavilla. And he said, this one shocks me even more. And I said, really? And he goes, yes, he is by far, and these guys watch them train all the time regularly and stuff. He says, his words exact, direct quote from Mirko Di Natale, he is easily the most technical midfielder we currently have on this roster, and he is the best ahead of the defense. To which my response was, wow, better than Locatelli ahead of the defense. Yes, absolutely, in my opinion. So strong, strong words from Mirko Di Natale, strong praise for Hans Nicolucci Cavilla. I'm excited. I'm excited to see him in there. And you know what? Sometimes in life, you just got to follow Berto and grip it and rip it. Like, no fear. No fear, okay? Grip it and rip it. I like it. I like it. And I knew, Alex, I knew you were coming in here, man. I was waiting for it, okay? Because this guy's been praising Hans Nicolucci Cavilla for quite some time. Okay. I'll give it to you. I hope Hans Nicolucci Cavilla has an absolute game today and just balls out, all right? But this is going to be massive. Massive moment for Hans Nicolucci Cavilla. Up top, we talked about it. Vlahovic, Chiesa. Do you think Keane or Vlahovic or even Milik? There were even some shouts of Milik. I asked the question. I put it out in a poll 2 days ago on Twitter and said, who do you start? 64% said Dusan Vlahovic to start. I want to know, is that who your pick would have been? Because we have to be serious. All eyes are going to be up top there too. So would he have been your pick, Lex?
I think yes. He still would have been my pick, mainly because I just think that this is his chance, that he has something to prove. I think that his link up with Chiesa, I think that this opportunity for him to show and prove that he is truly our guy, our main guy, as we originally signed him, center of the project, all of that from before. I think that if there's any moment to show that you truly deserve that, and this is why we brought you in, this game is the one to do it. That's why, for me, I believe that he would have that extra element to fight for, and which is why I would still go with Vlahovic. I still believe in him. I still do, even though I know a lot of people have given up. But I think, like you said, Al, definitely a tough decision. 3 guys for that one spot, but I would have gone with Dusan, yes.
Yeah, and I was probably 2-3 days leading into this game really on the fence about the striker situation and who plays next to Chiesa. Chiesa is an absolute lock. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was thinking Keane, because of the work rate and whatnot, he could also help shut down that director's role. But I was intrigued by the 3-4-1-2, which I also, now seeing who our midfield is, it's definitely not going to be 3-4-1-2. Not if you're seeing Hans Nicolucci Cavilla with McKennie and Rabiot. You're not going to get that, which I'm fine with. But I ended up deciding for myself, I would like to see Vlahovic there and starting in this one. And the reason is really the connection with Chiesa. As much as Keane's been doing well in the work rate and everything like that, for me, he still doesn't connect. They don't look for one another. It feels like there's no harmony when they are up top. At least with Chiesa and Vlahovic, it does appear that they are trying to work together and trying to figure something out. And to be honest, when our offense was the best for that stretch through this season, it was when both of them were firing. Vlahovic gives you a free kick threat as well on certain angles. We really don't have a free kick specialist, but on the right side of target, he is one. Milik is another, but for me, Milik was never in the race to start this game. Not a knock to him. He is so much better coming off the bench. He just actually has impact on games off the bench. I'm leaning towards Vlahovic having to get the start in this one. Whoever would get the start, it's going to be a big, big moment. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Max made the call. And we still have to wait for the official lineup, okay? Because this thing is, let's just wait and see. Maybe some smoke screens, do you think? Maybe? And maybe we get some completely different? Who knows?
Entirely possible. And
It's
I think I wanted to also point out too that Kostic, I saw a tweet today about him proving decisive last year in the matchups. So I wanted to ask your opinion on that as well. What do you think? Do you think he said he had 4 goal contributions in the 3 matches last season?
Kostic is going to take Dumfries for a walk. He owns him. 4 goal contributions in 3 games against Inter last season, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah. Kostic, for me, has to start this one. Yeah. And also because of the defensive duty. The defensive duty, like when you're talking Cambiaso, Kostic, even Iling Jr., Kostic is by far the best, probably balanced, I'd say, out of all of them. Cambiaso, there's no question in my mind. If you're talking offensively, he's miles clear, I think, because of how he moves and operates. But balance, it's got to be Kostic, and I think you've got to play him in this game, especially the way he was showing up all throughout last year in those Derby d'Italias. What do you think, Lex?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that flew under the radar. Like Kostic goal contributions feel like Immobile goals to me. I just forget that they happen sometimes. Like I think he was on the top charts for assists as well this season, and I was like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" So I definitely think that Kostic will be a game breaker for us today, for sure.
Yeah, and Michael Ross. Anyone else really amped? I'm not so sure. I actually might skip the game. I might just go for a walk, walk the dog, and just catch the score later. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go. Happy to see you in here, though, man. Not as often as it used to be, but I'm happy to see you in here today. Let's go. Drop the likes, everybody. Okay? Take a second. Let's get those likes here. And we're going to go through the key stats. We're going to get to our predictions and then talk a little bit more about Inter. I did see a comment earlier that we got to talk about. What if Juan Cuadrado finds his way into this game? Who? Who? Once you go there, for now, till excuse me, until season's over or he leaves, I don't even know who he is. Don't even know who he is right now. Agree, Lex?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Who even is
Come on.
that?
Come on. Hey, maybe he's an agent. Maybe he'll come in and do what Alexandro usually does for them and set us up for a goal, like that Sandro sitter he set up for Sanchez. Maybe Juan will do the same. Maybe he's an agent. Who knows? That would be great. The Cambiaso Weston duo. This is an interesting one and something we've only seen a small sample size of, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And Cambiaso on the right side, too. We're going to need help through the next stretch of matches. After this one, we've got Monza, we've got Napoli. Like, it's a tricky December coming up for Juventus. Maybe Cambiaso becomes the 1A on the right side. While everybody's talking about on the left side with him, Chiesa and whatnot. Maybe he becomes that solid option on the right. What do you think about that?
I think that would prove great for us. I think that that would be definitely interesting for sure because I think we've had that spot vacant. So I think we're waiting for someone to step up and prove to be that lock in that area.
Yeah, and what do you got? You've got Weston has been doing great this season, more a right wing back, but Weah hasn't had the impact he did through preseason in the regular season. He's coming back from injury and whatnot. I still want to see excuse me, way up more, but excuse me, he needs to pick it up when he's in there. So I think there is a legitimate opportunity right now for Cambiaso to get himself in there. So let's see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Maybe he doesn't have to be the water boy, like his dad said.
Oh man, that was gold with the Azzurri getting the call up. Hey, Dad got called to the Azzurri. Calm down. You're just gonna be getting the water. Wow. Thanks, Pops. Thanks, Pops. In the end, he was right, but it was hilarious. Now, key stats going into this one, and then prediction challenge. You guys know the drill. Final score and 2 tiebreakers. The key stats: Juventus, okay, 7-game unbeaten run, keeping 6 clean sheets. Woo! Juventus have won their last 5 matches in front of their fans, keeping these clean sheets in that run. Inter are the best offensive team in Serie A with 29 goals for in 12 matches. 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have featured 2 or fewer goals. It is time to take on the prediction challenge. Final score and 2 tiebreakers. Lex, you get the honors of kicking this thing off.
Oh, wow, lucky me. Okay, so I think I'm going to stay consistent with my 1-0 classic Cortomuso win, and I'm going with a Chiesa goal. My tiebreaker is going to be Chiesa goal in the 68th minute. And the other tiebreaker is going to be a Nico Lucci assist. But needs him to play for that
Oh,
to happen, but let's go with that. That's definitely what I'm going for.
wow. Hans getting a contribution in this massive matchup. All right, all right. Let's see what RB Comps is cooking up here. 2-1 win. Vlahovic breaks his duck. Rugani, last-ditch winning goal off a set piece. Nice. Nice. Georg, 2-1. Chiesa and Rabiot. Penalty for them because it's Inter. 1-0. Rabiot. Rabiot. One thing I have to talk about in terms of Rabiot, getting hands in there actually puts Rabiot where he's effective, because all the rumors about Rabiot playing ahead of the defense, you don't get what is considered the best out of Rabiot if he plays in that role. So that is another advantage out of taking that shot. And I saw it earlier with someone having some concern with Nicolosi Caviglia playing. I totally get the concern. It was Dom B. It was right here. A little concerned with Nicolosi starting with only 2 minutes playing time this year. Every game we played, we started with Luca. Hope it works well, but I'm nervous. I totally understand that. But this does allow for Rabiot to be the best version of himself, because if we need him to have an impact on the game, I don't think it's going to be from ahead of the defense. He's going to have to be as one of those Metsalas. So another reason why, excuse me, I was leaning towards playing Gaviria. 1-0 for Juve. 1-1 or 1-0. Gatti scores. Oh, the defender goals. Razzo 2-1 Juve. 5 total yellows. Chiesa to score. Allegri to yell on camera. Oh yeah, given. Ref to help Inter. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Jeremiah 2-1. Rabiot 1. Kostic 1. Temps 12. Target 4. Man of the match. Rabiot. All right. Well, is it going to be a draw, which I can easily see, or is somebody going to take all 3 points? I can easily get behind a 1-1 draw in this game. Will someone get the 2-1? Potentially. Will it be a controversial moment? Most likely. But in the end, Inter, you could score all those goals, okay? But you ain't scoring them on us. And the house is rocking. The vibes have been great all week. I've got a beautiful feeling we are going to be getting a clean sheet. We will be finding one goal. It will come between the 60th and 70th minute. Juventus will find a goal. The last moments of this game will be intense. We will be furious at parking it for this last bit, but we're going to deal with it. We're going to be swearing. We're going to be choked. We're going to be upset. We're going to be livid. But at the end of the final whistle, we're all going to be pumped because we've given the Merdazzurri that ultimate day. Getting the victory 1-0. All right, Juve's getting it done. My tiebreakers, your goal will be scored by a midfielder from Juventus. Okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a guy like Weston McKennie. I'm going to go with McKennie to get the goal for Juventus. And then my third tiebreaker, you will potentially actually see the tears this time from Limone Inzaghi in the post-match interview, all right? There you go. I'm fired up. I'm ready. Holy smokes, this watch along can't come quick enough. Everybody here, I hope that you join me for this one, okay? Because I am absolutely fired up. Look, Luca's in here. RB enjoying that prediction. Probably one of the better predictions I've had in a while. I hope it plays out that way. But guys, we have stormed the barn. And oh my God, Jeremiah, it's like you're reading my mind, okay? We got the predictions in. It's stormed the barn. He's ready to get rocking. Let's go. Any questions you have? We've got quite a bit of time to have some fun leading into this Derby d'Italia. And then we are going to talk about Derby moments and everything, all right? So, Jeremiah, how can Dusan be more consistent and clinical in scoring? And can Moisey start scoring too? Or is it our entire system sucks in supporting the strikers more? Lex, do you want to start here, or would you like me to?
I can take this on first.
Fire away.
I think that like most things in life, it's not particularly one way or the other. I think that there's definitely factors from either side of that argument that play a role in why we're not producing enough goals efficiently enough. I think that Dushan has some aspects of his game to work through. I think being clinical on chances, I think historically we've seen him miss chances that are chances that top strikers would score. And I think that that is the difference that's holding him back from being that world class striker that I believe he has the qualities to be and kind of where he's at right now. And I think that also, on the other hand, and you all know that I advocate about this a ton, and I always end up coming back to our team system, Allegri style of play. I think that there is a lot of pressure on the nine in that type of system. And I think it's an extremely difficult role to play. I think that when you play in the nine in Allegri system, you find yourself at half a lot. You're not in those areas where you particularly want to be oftentimes as the lone nine. So I think that that definitely does play a role for sure. I think that there's been examples in the past that have pointed to why that could be the case. I think you can look at Morata, the difference between last season and this season at Atletico. I think that's definitely an example that could be used. We always talk about Dushan's pass at Fiorentina. So I think that there's definitely, like I said, both sides of the argument. Both teams in this definitely play a role, both Dushan as well as our system. So it's definitely a good question.
Yeah, for me, I can't shake a few things like off my mind. You know, there's been games this season where we can easily run away with it, and we just aren't. And that's why when you play in the more tightly contested games, yeah, you're going to get less chances. It's going to be a little more difficult. So these guys haven't been able to impose themselves in games that should be easy kills. No disrespect to the clubs involved, but Verona should be an easy kill. Cagliari should be an easy kill and whatnot. We needed goals from two defenders against Cagliari. Verona, we needed a last grasp effort. For me, it all has to do with the midfield. And until we boost the quality there, we have an actual legitimate profile that we don't even own and possess in the midfield whatsoever right now. If you're looking at Miretti, you're looking at McKennie, you're looking at Rabiot, even if you're looking at Caviglia, you're looking at Locatelli, you do not have that guy that wants the ball all the time, that is going to be the dictator and control everything and pull the strings. You don't have that guy. You don't have that guy that has the vision, that there's that through ball, and the guy that has the confidence to take that initiative and say, I'm going to do that. For me, the boost in gameplay that we want to see, the boost in performances, that it's not going to happen until we fix the midfield. I am like absolutely convinced on this now after like this season and watching these games and how they're playing out. You know, Pogba would have made a massive difference because he's got everything you need, right? Fagioli, I feel, and I don't want anyone taking this the wrong way because I'm banking on Fagioli, okay? And I think Juve needs to be banking on Fagioli, but I feel like he got way too much credit without really doing enough yet. You know, like I feel like, okay, he was showing signs of what he can do, but if I want to say he would have been the difference in our play style and everything, I still don't think he's there yet to just kind of be that guy and be trusted and take the reins over, because it wasn't playing out that way for the majority of his minutes. That's just me. But again, that's not a knock to him. I just think he's got to get there still. If Juventus makes a pickup this winter in the midfield that is the right profile, that can come in and have an impact, I think it drastically changes how this team plays. And if we go to years previous during Max Allegri's first tenure, the team didn't play anything like what you're seeing now. It's a quality thing for me. It's a quality thing. Gradually, as that season, as his tenure went down, okay? Gradually, as his tenure went down, you had the midfield becoming weaker and probably needing that shift. You have two other managers that came in. They tried to play their way and they couldn't. What was weak with those guys? Their midfield. I think Ronaldo masked so many deficiencies in the midfield, I think, for that team. And here we are, still going through it. I think the young guys need to grow, okay? And we need quality. We need to be looking at quality. We can't make the young guys out to be saviors. And the guys that are the big time guys, the big money guys, Dusan Vlahovic, I'm starting to get this feeling like we need to stop making excuses for the big money guys. If you're a big money guy, I don't care if you're playing in a 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2, whatever. I feel like you need to bring it and show why you're worth that money. Is that fair, Lex?
Yeah, I definitely think that's fair, and I really like your points about the midfield. I think it was interesting. There was a comment, someone, I think it was Alex, put that Morata has Griezmann, though, and I thought that was also a really good point, especially like you said, when you look at who is making our strikers successful, and often that's the midfield. And I think with our team, it's so interesting because we've been having this crisis, an identity crisis in our midfield for years now. And, you know, we've always mentioned that it's never really picked up since we lost those core players. And we thought bringing Pogba back would have some sort of resurgence or renaissance in our midfield, you know, trying to rely on those past successes. But I do think that the midfield is a massive, massive part of the reason why our strikers are lacking the goal output, as you mentioned. And I still am on the opinion of our play style playing a role in that as well. I think that the certain profiles that Allegri does tend to look for in his midfield, being ball winning, destroyer profile types, I think that if we're bringing in another midfielder, I'd agree with you that we need someone that is going to have vision and that's going to want the ball and be technically sound on the ball. Someone who's preferably, as you mentioned, a bit older with more experience because we have our youth now, but I do still think that we need also stronger profile to also still step into our midfield. Like you said, that has those qualities that we just seem to be lacking right now.
Yeah, I just don't think we can ask for a playing style without having that. You know? Like we want a better playing style and everything like that. Just it's like I want to build a house, but I have like no nails, no screws, no wood. Like I have nothing to build it with. You know what I mean? It's like we still need the certain guys to help that. As far as like the quality and everything, I think that's what it all really comes down to. We look at that goal that Miretti had, Miretti's first goal that he scored. Unbelievable buildup, right? But that was like seeing a friggin' unicorn with these guys. Like the 1-2, a 1-2 that McKennie was involved in, Rabiot's first touch on the run, and then again, that final pass to Kostic, Rabiot fucked that up. Like that should have not got there. Luckily, Parisi was in shambles. But this is what I mean. Like he really messed up that pass. We got lucky. It's just, but it's like seeing a unicorn because of the guys we have there. A little more quality, I think, goes a long way in the middle of the park for Juventus. But great topic. It's one that's going around all tifosi right now. Is why is it that we can't step on the throttle and get going? I think we can, and there will be games that present themselves, but in more evenly matched matches against good teams, not even the strong teams, but the good teams, our midfield really, really shows where they're at, I think, anyways. Now, George, out of all the names in the midfield, who is the most likely to join in January? Right now, if we believe all the rumors and we go with what they're saying, the most likely is Samardzic or Sudakov. I'd probably say those are the two that seem realistic and whatnot. What do you think, Lex?
I'd have to agree with that. I think that the club's going to break my heart over DePaul again because every time I get linked to him, I get very excited, but I don't see it happening. Definitely not, especially not in January. So I definitely would have to agree with you, Berto.
Well, this one couldn't come at a better time. If Illing was a swap only deal, which player would you swap him for? Would you accept Illing Jr., DePaul swap, etc.? And yes, we know what Lex is gonna say. Would you accept that?
I don't want to lose Illing. I really do not want to lose him. And this is a whole nother can of worms to open and to discuss because really, why was he like missing MIA for 5 weeks? Anyways, that's such a tough question, RV. You're really pulling at my heartstrings with that. But I do think maybe for Illing's own benefit, then I would be okay with him leaving just on a loan, just because the guy needs to play. I like to watch him play. If he's not going to play here, then he needs to go somewhere where he's going to play and then come back once Allegri leaves. That's what I think.
Like I don't want to lose Illing permanently. However, the way Sule has been going on this season, it makes me feel better about getting money that we could use to bring in some more quality. Okay? Lex, you might want to mute your speakers for what I'm about to say, okay? But DePaul, for me, there was a time it was an automatic yes, and I thought we needed and whatnot. I think he's changed a bit, and he's become almost more of this pivot style mid as opposed to the attacking prowess he showed at Udinese. And I probably wouldn't splash for DePaul, but it's not like an automatic no. It's not an automatic no. It's a little bit of hesitancy, I'd say. That's all. That's all.
Okay. All
Okay?
right. That wasn't too bad. That
All
wasn't so
right.
bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible or whatnot, but it's not a flat out no. It's just I have some doubts there. I had some doubts there. Oasis saying, do you think we'll go with the 3-4-1-2 like some reports would say? I said this a little while ago on today's show. Let's just wait because I wouldn't be surprised by some smoke screens, okay? But Romeo Gresti says that the way these get out, these lineups, is usually because players contact their families and everything and try and set things up. You would have to bet your ass that Hans Nicolucci Caviglia is going to be letting friends, family, whatever, etc. know about this start if it was going to go down. So I'd kind of believe that's the link. With a midfield that we see there, I don't believe we're going to be seeing a 3-4-1-2. It'll be a flat three. I think we can all agree on that one. But yeah, let's go look at that one. That Berto comment went through one ear and out the other with Lex. No, DePaul, it is what it is. It is what it is. But with Illing Jr., Sule's gonna feel good. And guys, by the way, for anybody that's in the hobby, check out this little Sule rookie I picked up, numbered to 299. Little beauty. Is it 299? Yeah,
Yeah.
118 out
Oh
of
my god.
299. Sick
So
little card there to add to the PC. I have some absolute beauties coming back from grading too. So yeah, working on that Juve collection. Fagioli, hey, you better pan out, my boy, because I've invested in a lot of your rookie cards, etc. and whatnot. So let's hope that Fagioli gets it right when he comes back. But today, how nervous are you? Are you very, very nervous about this one? I actually feel surprisingly good. Like,
I feel good.
yeah, like I don't I have no fear. I have no fear going into this one. I'm not worried, I'm not stressed. It's kind of weird because the big games, these last few seasons and whatnot, I'm always like so anxious about it, so over anxious, trying to get, in the right headspace and whatnot, and just thinking about so much. But right now, like, I don't know what it is. I am so calm. I'm pumped up. I'm excited, but I'm like not nervous or like weary about them really at all. Like, I truly feel like we're playing with free money here. A lot of people didn't have Juve in this, like, being up at the top or believe that we could get the Scudetto this year. And I said, absolutely we could, but we're top two. Our main priority and everything around Juventus is posturing. And I'll talk about this in a little bit here, but I want to get to Lex's feelings. Like, yeah, I feel like it's really all on them. I truly do believe that. And I think like Juve is gonna have one of these games maybe where we're just playing at ease but still on it because we're not feeling that. Like, I don't know. I feel like they won't be as tense as we would expect. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the best way to go into games is like this with nothing to lose. So I'm definitely in the same state of mind as you, Berto. Like I'm pumped. I'm just excited. I think they've got nothing to lose. I think I'm very intrigued to see what this team will do if they do end up taking that first place spot. Because I think that that will give us so much momentum. And I think that you're playing with a different mindset when you taste a little bit of what it feels like to be at the top of the table. So I'm definitely pumped for that. I really hope that happens today because I think that would be huge for just everything this season. I think this season, I think not playing in Europe as hard as it's been, I think it's avoided any type of those kind of morale diminishing games that we've experienced in the past in Europe with those like failures that we've had. I think that without those this season, it's played definitely a role in their mindset and as a group being able to come together. So I think that if we can win this game, get the top of the table, that would be huge. I want to see what type of team we get out of that for sure.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, there's just everything to gain here for Juventus, really. And I was talking about the posturing thing. Everything Juve's done for the past little bit here is just simply about posturing, setting up. When you hear Calvo, say in a meeting addressing everybody yesterday that the cleanup will be done this year. Yeah, because they've been posturing. They've been posturing up. And that's why like certain commitments have been made now for 2028 with contract extensions. And there are others that will go probably into the spring. And we'll see what lies there. But one of the things I do believe, everybody, is one of Federico Chiesa and Dusan Vlahovic will leave Juventus this summer. And I would bet on the latter, that it would be Dusan Vlahovic. But I have this feeling that that money influx will be used to spread out. We also are looking for a new sponsor. Once you get a new sponsor, I also believe that's going to be partnered with a partial sale of Juventus to a minority owner. And that will also be our new sponsor, which will help resources and an influx of money that we could use as well. There's a lot of things going on. And I think we're in for a big, big summer coming up for Juventus. A big, big shift. Right now, though, Champions League. Champions League is the major objective for Juventus because of those extra resources and because it helps with the sponsorship. Helps with the sponsorship money, helps with all of that. So that's a big thing. When you also look at our squad, we're, again, a lot of teams didn't think we had it in there, didn't think we could be on this run. The average age of this team has dropped considerably from close to 30 to 26 average age. For guys that are going to be in there today, I mean, Gatti's 25. That's not old. You've got Cambiasso at 23 years old. Okay, you've got, I think Dusan Vlahovic is still only 23 years old. Okay, you've got Hans Nicolucci Caviglia at 23 years old. Chiesa's what, 25? Fede? 26.
I think so.
So yeah, he's getting up there too. We still treat him like a kid. Chiesa, let's go, buddy. Grab the bull by the horns, pull this team over the finish line. Let's go. But yeah, I think I like it. I like where we're sitting today. Bremer's only 26. He's got to be a staple. I don't know why we get the wildest takes with Bremer sometimes, and people want to move him, want to sell him, and haven't been happy with him. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if Bremer scored a goal today. Moise Kean, 23 years old. Look, we got a young team, okay? They didn't think we would be in this position now. Here we are. The pressure's all on Inter. 20 minutes before kickoff, everybody, I am going to be here, okay? Live. Getting ready, hyped up for this match. I will call all the action for you. I hope to see you all there joining in the live reactions with me, okay? Whatever happens, no matter what, we ride or die together. It's fino alla fine, okay? And that never wavers. Let's see where the chips fall today, but I think it's going to be an absolute beauty of a game, and it might go down and etch itself as one of the better ones in the Derby d'Italias. There was a question about the tifo. Any idea about the tifo we are going to see there? I know what it is. I'll just say you're going to see something involving La Vecchia Signora. Okay? You'll see something involving La Vecchia Signora. We've already seen variants. It'll be one involving La Vecchia Signora. Leave it at that. The names that are linked to Juve in recent months have mostly been outside of Italy. Has Juve Giuntoli had enough of Serie A clubs? Omer! Buddy!
Hi, Omer.
What's
Also,
up, my man? Great seeing you in the chat there, brother. Has Juve and what did I say last season? I said, if push came to shove, we take our money elsewhere if clubs want to play hardball with Juventus. Because if it came down to that, I fail to believe that these clubs wouldn't take the deal. Right, Lex? Like, they would ultimately take the deal if it meant we were going to walk away and get a foreigner, right?
I think so. I think they would.
I think so too. I think if it came down to these clubs, and you know what? Them having more of those links might be setting the tone for those teams to start taking it and start working a little bit better in terms of what they're asking for and prices and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if we start finding ourselves back at the top where we belong, they're going to want the money. They're going to want us to pay up and stuff. So Giuntoli's going to have to work some magic, and we'll see what happens. But let's
Berto,
go.
I've got to head out, guys. I've got a game to go play. So I'm going to say best of luck, Forza Juve today. Thank you so much, guys, for the warm welcome back. I saw the comments. I was waving.
You
And
betcha. And we're wrapping up today, guys. Live watch along, all right? 20 minutes before kickoff. Let's see you back here. Fino alla fine, Forza Juve. Let's kick their ass today. Come on, everybody. Let's go. Drop a like. We'll see you in a few hours. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.